Hi friends, welcome to Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I'm Jenny and we live here in Baltimore, Maryland, Zone 7. Today's project is to do some winter cleanup of the gardens that I neglected in the fall and should have gotten done. Well, maybe there's no should haves in the garden, but anyway, these are some cleanup jobs that I'm going to do now because we're expected to get a wintry blast of weather over the coming weekend. So come with me and let's get some garden chores done. So I'm currently in the north side garden here and it's looking okay, but you can see there are a lot of things. Like all of the hostas need to be cleaned up. The hellebores, the old leaves need to be trimmed off. There's, just perennials from last season that never got cleaned up because we had a warm late fall and then it was the holiday season and I was busy with that. So there's quite a few things here that could be cut back and cleaned up and straightened up. And that's the same story in a lot of the gardens around the yard. So we're gonna get done as much as we can today. The weather is about 40 degrees and breezy right now, so it's a little chilly, but not terribly chilly. And it is going to be fine once I get working. So I just need to get on the job. And we're gonna get as much done around the property today as we can. My tools for today include my handy dandy Felco 2 pruners, which I may or may not really need, depending on what it is that I'm working on. I'm going to be using this large kind of tote bin that's made out of like lightweight tarp material, so it's really easy to fill up and carry around to where I need to dump it. I will be using some gardening gloves and of course my new hat that I got for Christmas, which is a wonderful sentiment because, as you know, I like to be real in the garden and I don't put makeup on and I don't do my hair to do gardening chores. That's just the way I am around here. So I'm just going to get working and I'll bring you along with me and we'll see what gets done and what doesn't. I'm going to start in this raised bed planter. There's not much to do here. I do have some heucheras, which they're looking a little wilty today because it's pretty cold, but I'm not going to cut back the heucheras just yet. I think come spring, I'll probably give them a hair trim, sort of like I do on my liriope or some of the other plants that stay sort of evergreen during the winter. I'm going to leave these for a pop of color for the rest of the season. And then as we head toward the spring and we start to see new growth coming up, that's when I'll trim back the old foliage. But in here, I'm just going to take out this this branch that I had left over from my front porch pot projects, and I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to save this because it's a beautiful decorative branch, and I just stuck it there because I needed a place to put it. And so let me just save that. The Haconocloa that's in here, I'm going to give a haircut right now. That was easy. And now I'm just going to clean up any fallen leaves that are in here and just make it look a little bit neater and nicer. I have some ferns in here and they do have a lot of brown leaves on them, but I'm just going to try to use my hand like this to groom them a little bit. But they also have some green foliage left on them, so not really going to cut them back hard right now. I'm just going to kind of groom them with my hand a little bit. Okay, these are Steed's hollies, and you can see that they're gathering stuff from the overhead. They're a little bit out of shape, but I think it's too... Ooh, that's a cold wind. I think it's a little bit wrong time of year to try to prune these, because when I prune them, they'll try to push new growth, and then that new growth will probably burn and freeze. And so I'm going to wait just a few more weeks or maybe even a month and a half or so. And then when it's late winter, early spring is when I will come in here and try to prune these into some trim them back and let them flush out a little bit. I've got a hole in this one here that I want to try to encourage growth to cover up and things like that. So, but this is not the time of year to be doing that on those. So I think I'm done with that. That was super easy. Now I'm just going to clean up hosta foliage that's in this bed and trim back last year's leaves from the hellebores to allow this year's new growth and flowers to really shine. I have some weeds here. I'm going to go ahead and pull those out while I'm at it. Why waste my efforts when I'm already down here working? This is a mini mauvet hydrangea. I'm hoping that it does well in this location. I'm not sure how it's going to do. All right, and this hellebore, these smaller leaves are this year's growth, and this larger one is last year. So just cut that back, oops, down to the base. All right, that's last year too. Okay, so there we go. That's ready to start sprouting up and putting out new growth and flowers eventually. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm taking out the ratty looking hosta leaves and I'm leaving the heucheras for a little while longer. I'm cutting back last year's growth on the hellebores and general tidy up and take care not to step on too much of the flower bed because of the spring bulbs that will eventually, if not already, start poking up. So I'm just gonna get to it and finish the rest of this area. Over in this area, I have a lot of hostas, I have a few hellebores, and these green clumps that you see here are pink forget-me-nots that I planted from seed last year, and they should bloom this year. I used to have them in these planters around these boxwoods, but I put them into the ground at the end of the summer. So again, just the same cleanup plan here. Try not to step on too much and just get it looking a little bit nicer. This is a lemon coral sedum that was in a container last year in summer of 2020, and it kind of hopped out of the container into the ground, and it has lived here ever since. So lemon coral sedum, good plant for my area. I've got English ivy growing in here. I try to pull that out when I see it. This job would be probably a little bit easier if I used a rake, but you know, I need some exercise. There's a hellebore right here that has old leaves, but I'm just going to leave it because it doesn't look terrible. If it starts to look terrible, I'll pull it out later. This Haconocloa, I'm going to leave here because I like the form and structure of the brown in the wind in the winter. So these are staying until the spring, and then when they start to send up new growth in the spring, I'll cut the old growth down. We've got cool season weeds already starting. This is chickweed, I believe. So if I get it out now, then it won't grow as big, and maybe it won't go to seed, and maybe I'll be able to reduce how much chickweed we have in the garden. One can dream anyway, right? We also have a ton of wild onions, and they're coming up. I see them, and we'll just continue to live with wild onions all over because they are impossible to fully remove. I've tried. I guess I could come in with Roundup, but I don't want to do that, so we'll live with them. This ivy's coming in from the other side, from our neighbor, and it's a losing battle, but I keep fighting it anyway. This is a stand of Brunera mixed in with some of those pink forget-me-nots. I think in the spring it's going to be gorgeous with the pink Brunera, with the pink forget-me-nots and the blue Brunner, which is also very reminiscent of a forget-me-not flower. I'm hoping it's a lovely combination. I have filled up one container full of waste, and in any normal year I would put this on my compost pile in the backyard. But this year we're building a new flower bed along the north side of our property here, and we're using the cardboard with material on top method, the no dig method. So I have a lot of cardboard left over from Christmas shopping and so forth, and I have a section of this that we never got finished last fall. So I'm going to lay out enough cardboard that when I pour this out, it will spread across and keep the cardboard down. And then as I have more material, I'll put down more cardboard, and that's how I'm going to get rid of my yard waste from this cleanup. Most of this material that we have used so far is made up of shredded leaves that came down in the fall. There is a little bit of green material in there, some grass clippings, some plant cutback stuff from the end of the season, but mostly it's been shredded leaves. And I'm hopeful that next year the soil in these areas will be gorgeous. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed for that. This is mixed material, as you saw. There's some green material, not much at all green material. In fact, pretty much the only green material are those hellebore leaves, which are really thick and leathery, and they do take a while to decompose. There's also some weeds in there, but they haven't gone to seed yet, so I'm okay putting those in. But then most of the rest of it is brown leaves and sticks and stuff. So I'm just, using what I have to do. This method, it takes usually about, believe it or not, 2 feet deep of yard waste to really make a nice 6-inch tall bed in the end. Now over here in this area with the leaves, we filled it probably about 1 foot, and it has, over the last couple of months, it's already shrunk down to be about only 3 or 4 inches tall. And it's going to continue to get shorter and shorter as it decomposes. In the area over by the street where we did the same method as this, we didn't have that many leaves left over, so that only got about 6 inches of leaves, and it's already down to about 1 inch. So I anticipate that over time, this isn't finely shredded like that was, so this will take a longer time to decompose. And I probably will come in and top this with some composted material out of my compost bin, just to get the microorganisms kind of working on it and get it going a little bit faster. But also, I will be trying to make it deeper than it is right now. And then, if I don't end up with enough material to finish this about 10 feet from here to over where we finished, I'll probably just have to buy some bulk material in the spring to cover up the rest of this. So I feel myself getting off track. I'm supposed to be cleaning up plant material and making new beds over there. But as I'm standing out here in the front looking at the new front foundation that we refreshed last summer and fall, I'm looking at things that I think maybe need to move, or maybe I need more of to make a better impact, or maybe I don't like them there, or whatever. So I have to bring myself back to, no, Jenny, this is not garden design day. This is cleanup day. So let me check. What time is it? Oh, I've been out here about an hour and 45 minutes, so I'm getting close to lunchtime. I think I'm going to do just a little bit more, a couple of really easy things that will make a big visual impact, and then I'm going to call it a day. This section of the garden's looking pretty raggedy. All I got to do is take down this dahlia stalk, these lily stalks and cut back the monk's hood, and then it will look so much better. Now you may remember that in the summer and fall I talked about how this beautyberry, I was going to move it to another location in the early winter. Well, here we are in mid-January. Our ground is not yet frozen, but we're headed into another snowy ice storm this weekend, and I don't know what the future long-term forecast looks like. I think it's a little bit too risky to cut this down and move it right now. I think I'm going to wait till late winter, early spring, probably sometime in March is when I will trim this back down really low, dig it up, and move it to its new location. I just feel safer trying to save this plant by not moving it right now. So anyway, let me get these things cut down. This is a dahlia. I didn't lift the tuber, as you can see. We'll see if it comes back. I don't even remember what kind it is. I just put that plant stake over by my Taylor juniper. I have 4 Taylor junipers across here that are brand new, and they are starting to lean from when they got snow on them, and that's probably going to happen again this Sunday, so I think I will stake those up today, make sure they don't absolutely fall over. Back to my job here. Already, that looks better. Oh gosh, danger zone. Don't poke yourself in the eye with stalks. Whew, that could have been bad. These are the big tall lily trees that are so gorgeous every July. Right around July 4th they bloom for me. Monk's hood. Okay, so just taking down those big stalks of things makes this bed already look so much nicer. But as these things go, now all I can see are the peony and baptisia over there that need to be taken down. So I'm going to do those too. Well, that is a little bit better on this bed, but as you can see, there's still a lot of cleanup to be done, a lot of perennials to be cut down, leaves to get out of there. Now I could, and I did obviously, leave the leaves on the flower beds through the winter. It provides insulation for the plants, it provides habitat for wildlife and the birds to come and get the bugs that are living in there. There's lots of good reasons to leave leaves on your flower beds, but I want those leaves over here in this new flower bed to use as soil, building my soil for next year. So I will be, maybe after this coming snow melts, I'll come out and clean these out and get this material moved over to this side. I think for today I'm done. Tomorrow I'm busy. Sunday it's going to snow and rain. So this has felt like a really great day. I love getting out in the garden, 2 hours out in the garden, moving my body and touching the soil, and just being around all my plants has really been good for me today. If you're able, don't be afraid of some cold weather. Put on some good clothes, go out in the cold weather. As long as you're dry, just get out and enjoy and take time to appreciate what you have, maybe make a little progress on some chores. I don't know, there's nothing like being in the garden to soothe your soul and make you feel great. It makes you appreciate winter for the good that it does for our garden, and it makes you appreciate spring that's coming not too long. So thank you so much for joining me in the garden today. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're able to get out and do some gardening, and if not, maybe do something indoors. I will see you again in another video real soon, friends. Take care. Bye.